What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a hydro install for Andy's E36 drift car. I'm gonna go and talk you through kind of what our plan is for this hydro. First off, we're gonna figure out a mounting setup, which essentially what I did in my E36 is I took two metal plates like this. These are about 6 inches a piece, and we took out all the interior, and we also cut out some of the little bits of carpet here and there just with a knife, because we will have to weld to the transmission tunnel. So kind of what I'm thinking is gonna go ahead and put that fifth gear. So we can place a piece of metal right here, and I'm gonna end up welding along this edge here and this edge here. Weld that to the transmission tunnel, and then I will take this plate and then kind of make it an L bracket almost. I'm gonna cut a little bit more of the carpet, and it's gonna essentially sit like this. So it's gonna be a little bit of a box on the tranny tunnel like so. So it's gonna be really nice. The hydro will bolt to the plate about here and here, and I'll probably end up welding the nuts on the bottom side of this plate before I put this one on. So now we're gonna go get busy mocking everything up, grinding down some paint, that way we can get to welding. So now what I'm doing is I'm gonna go ahead and mark this plate, kind of make some mark on the trans tunnel, just to allow enough room to be able to go into reverse. This is a stock shifter, so it's a little bit sloppy, but enough room where it can go in reverse, and then enough room between the console area and this, and then also good space between the wheel where you can pull it back and it will be about right. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark the holes where to drill into this plate first before I weld it on. That way we can make some adjustments if we need to. After I got done mocking this up, I went ahead and drilled my 2 holes, and then I went ahead and welded the nuts on the bottom. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but these nuts will now stay here, and I won't have to get a wrench underneath there, which will make it a lot easier installing it and removing the hydro. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is go mock this up in the car one more time, and then grind off the metal in the trans tunnel. That way we can weld this edge to the trans tunnel, and then go from there. Light fire. Fine fire. Alrighty, today's the day we're gonna go ahead and put the dual caliper on the rear of Andy's E36. Now this hydro setup is gonna be exactly similar to my E36 drift car. So first step, we're gonna get it up in the air, take the wheels and tires off, and we're gonna get to work on this thing. Stay tuned. Alrighty, we got this whole entire assembly taken apart. We got a little ahead of ourselves. Let me catch you up. So we went ahead and cut off the dust shield right here. Just kind of did a nice little trim. We obviously took the caliper and the rotor off. Did a nice little trim on the dust shield. Currently, we wanted to keep the stock handbrake. However, we're having little complications of the rotor spinning freely, so we're actually getting rid of that right now, which isn't too hard. You kind of twist a few little things, take off the spring. That's the old stock handbrake. It is nice to retain, but we're trying to get this car on the track here in a couple days, so we need to just kind of do what we need to do. Now, since we have that all off, we'll be able to potentially, actually, we might be able to just take this dust shield off since these bolts are not exposed. And then we can go ahead and line up the caliper. I'll show you guys that here in a second. So what I'm doing right now is actually just went ahead, we got everything cleared off in the back, which is really nice. put the rotor back on, and now we went ahead and bolted up the little tab. I believe these tabs, I think one side might be higher than the other, so I need to double check which side is which. Quick tip is that the bleeder for the caliper should always be at the top. So this side will sit here, bleeder's on the top. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is line this up where I think it needs to sit, where it's not too far forward or not too far back, where it's going to be like rubbing constantly on here, where it sits right and flat, which is going to take a little bit of trial and error of taking the rotor off and on and looking at it. But once you do that, hopefully you can get in there and tack it up. And before I'm going to weld it all, I'm going to definitely bolt it up again, and we should be pretty good. Alrighty, a little update on the E36 hydro install. We got one side done. We've been working with these weld-on tabs, and I must say they're more pain than what they're worth. I'd probably just say spend the money up front, get the bolt-on ones, something like that. Might be a little more a process of an install, but lining these things up is such a hard time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The good thing is we have this one side done. Everything spins freely, which is nice. We're having a problem with even the foot caliper was catching. We really just needed to refresh everything. It's the ideal way to do it. So new pads, new rotors, re-grease the caliper pins, all that stuff. However, this is kind of a last minute deal, so we just threw on the new rotor, and the old pads are still on here, which I know is not really recommended. Here's the handbrake caliper. The weld on tab is back in there. I just tossed on a bunch of weld. I'm not really a welder. Got it to work though. Everything should be pretty good on this side. But like I was saying, those weld on tabs, I really wouldn't recommend them. That's what I run on my car. Probably just got a little bit lucky with that install. But we've been working on this for quite some time now, and it's kind of one of those things where it might just be better to spend the money up front and save you a lot of hassle in the long run. Alright, so we just finished this side. That side went a little bit easier. We got kind of lucky with it. Ended up kind of just eyeballing where that little tab needs to be welded on, and I just sent it on there. And then obviously I checked it, and then the rotor cleared everything, which was good. Took it off, and then just laid all the weld on. So we got both calipers on now, which is good. Now we need to go ahead and run the lines. That's our last thing to do for this hydro install. We're gonna be running Chase Bay's lines on this car. It's like 160 bucks for the kit. It beats making lines and all that stuff. So we'll probably start on each caliper. So pretty much there's a line running from each caliper, and then it tees together into one line, and that one line runs to the master. So let's go ahead and get started on the lines. Alrighty, just finished it up, got everything bled, super easy to do. We're gonna take it on a test drive. Hopefully everything goes well. Fingers are crossed that those welds don't snap, but let's give her a shot. She's looking good. So since we didn't replace the pads, we're gonna try to warm them up a little bit, kind of see if they can kind of set in the rotor a little bit before we give it a full yank. This is kind of a used setup. The hydro is a little bit used. Pads aren't brand new, so we're gonna probably go up here a little bit and test them out once these get a little bit warm. That's what I usually do, cruise in third, fourth gear, just kind of rest my hand on it when I'm driving. That way we heat them up a little bit. I tend to grab a little bit better after that. Please work. Seems like it works. He said he's having a problem rubbing on one of the sides, like where the shocks are blowing out. You going backwards, buddy?
We got blacktop.
Blacktop and it's wet, like ice. Oh, he's going for more. Lock him up. Lock him up for us. Lock him up. Pull some of that hydraulic in there, sir. He's gonna try it again. Hopefully no one's out here. We're in a lot. Make sure it locks up. It locked up there, yeah. It locked up that time. Here, do just a straight line pull and just pull it in a straight line so we can make sure. Because if it locks up in a straight line, you know it'll lock up kind of going sideways. We'll make sure it works good for tomorrow. Pull it. Oh shoot. Did we lose it? We might need to bleed it again. So just covering the lines is this one that runs right to the master. And then we ended up drilling just right here in the back seat. We haven't put the back seat back in yet, but right here, right next to, it's kind of straddling the drive shaft. Zip tied it up real nice and neat underneath it. So we should be good. And we can clean this up by the back seat and then tuck this in, which will be really nice. We're gonna do a little rebleed. It's not too bad. I know this is kind of an older master, so that might be kind of why. It's kind of a V1 handbrake as well from FDF. So we're gonna rebleed it, but overall we'll be really pleased and Andy can drive it tomorrow with a hydro. Alrighty, that is gonna wrap up this E36 video. Don't forget, go hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Let me know what you think down in the comments of the hydro install. If you guys have anything to say about that. Also, if you're looking to install a hydro on your car, hopefully this helped you out. And like I said, if it did, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
There goes the same.